Hi, welcome back to Beck's Quest and the week 19 wrap up. How did we do this week? Were we able to work out? Did we eat well? Well, stay tuned and find out. So week 19 was a really good week. My friend who generally trains with me, Jasmine, on some of my days was out sick this week. So we didn't really get much training in together. However, I did go to the gym myself, and day one for me was my leg day. My leg day one which includes my squats. Of course, I always warm up with my hip band and do about 3 sets of 10 to really warm up the legs and the butt and the glutes and the hips and everything else to get ready for my squats. And then I will do a warm-up set just with the bar, again, to figure out form. I know my form is not perfect, and it is always a challenge to correct it and try to get a deeper, better form. And every human is different. We are all built differently. We might have doppelgangers out there, but I assure you, even with a twin or a doppelganger, something's gonna be a little bit different and a little bit off. So we have to find the best form for ourselves. And it's great if you have a coach or a trainer that can help see that. However, I think with video and rewatching the work that I'm doing, it really helps as well. So I'm always trying to figure out my form. So first, I always try to do my form with just the bar without any added weight. Then I put the weights on. So this week, we started with 3 sets, but we're doing the 3 of 5 instead of the 5 of 5. And we did 3 sets of 5 at 40 kilograms added to the bar, which the bar is about 20 to 22 kilograms. I'm not sure, I have to look that up. But basically it ups your weight by at least 20, right? So it's about 60 to 62 kilograms added that you're lifting. So I did 3 sets of 5 with that. Then I moved down and I do my 3 sets of 5 with my deadlifts. And I have found that 30 kilograms right now with the bar on plus the bar is enough for me, because I'm trying not to have a loss of bladder control like I did in that embarrassing video where a little bit escaped. And so I know that means I have a weak pelvic floor, which I have to work on. And so 30 seems to be the max without losing any type of control. I've also thought it's because the sumo helped me avoid that, but I'm going into more regular deadlifts now. And I'm going to try to up the weight with the regular deadlifts this time to see if I can't control it. Now my body's used to that weight. The goal is also to go to the 5 of 5 plan, which I'm pretty much at. I'm pretty much there. So we did squats, then we did our deadlifts, and then after that, we do our swinging RDLs. So with our swinging RDLs, we're doing 3 sets of 10 on each leg. This week I did 12 kilograms with my swinging RDLs. And so I'm just going down the leg and letting the balance squaring the hip as I go down to create my RDL with my hinged leg behind. So as you can see, my leg day 1 is pretty light in comparison to what it used to be, because I've only got those 3 major exercises built in, which are the squats, the deadlifts, and the RDLs. And I think that's enough, because the workout is anywhere from 45 minutes to 1 hour. And honestly, I'm trying to be in the gym 1 hour or less, because I don't need to spend all my time in the gym, especially if I want to be consistent and have more days in the gym. I find that as long as I hit it, and I hit it hard, and I hit it heavy, that's all I need. And we're lifting, pretty heavy at this point for myself. Then the day 2, let's see. So I'm looking at my notes. So that was a Tuesday. Actually, day 1 was a Tuesday. And then day 2, I waited all week and got in Friday. So I was recovering all week. I had a lot happening. There were a lot of events that I was going to, and meetings and work. So day 2 and 3 were Friday and Saturday. So day 2 was my push day. And so for my push day, I started with my cable crossovers as my warm-up, but I'm going heavier now. And so I'm using 15 kilograms. So that's 3 sets of 10 with 15 kilograms for my cable crossovers, followed by my tricep cable push down. So it's because the machine was available and I was already on cables, I went ahead and just clicked in and started doing my tricep cable push downs. And with that, that's 3 sets of 5, and I'm doing 35 kilograms. So when I was doing 3 to 5 sets of 15, I would do about 20 kilograms so I could really get through it, and because it's always the last 3 that kill me. And now I found that 3 sets of 5, which again, we're gonna go to 5 of 5. But right now, as I'm getting used to this heavier weight, 35 kilograms with this particular cable machine. Again, remember, every cable machine is different. They're just not all set the same. They're not calibrated correctly. So you have to sometimes move the weight around to figure out, if you're going to a new gym or a new machine, what that weight is. So for me, the 3 sets of 5 of 35 was on this particular cable machine. And when I'm getting close to the end, it's always a struggle for the last 1 rep or 2 rep. So that's where I know 35 is good for me at that point. This is how we're figuring it out, right? So from my tricep cable push down, we moved over to the bench, where we do our bench incline push-ups. And the first set, I do 1 set of 20, and then I'll do 4 sets of 10, because I'm basically doing 60 push-ups. So it's 3 sets of 20 or 6 sets of 10, or however you want to mix it. But I can always get in at least 1 set of 20 without stopping. And then I always do my bench press between. And my muscles are so fatigued at that point that getting through 1 set of 10 is all I can eke out, that's a word, that I can eke out after each push-up set. So the first set of 20, then I do a warm-up on my bench with the 20 to 25 kilogram bar, depending on the gym I'm in. And so for this week, I was in the section where they only had the 20 kilogram bar and the 25 kilogram bar. So my warm up was the 20 kilogram bar, where I did 1 set of 8 to 10, which was about 10. And then I move over to 5 sets. Now I went up to 5. Because instead of 3 of 5, I do 5 of 5, because I know I can do the 25 kilograms without needing a spot. And where it's also not dangerous, I'm going to drop the bar on my head or my chest or my whatever and break myself. So this time I'm doing 5 sets of 5 at a 25 kilogram push. And again, my form, I'm really focusing on my form with this one, because I don't want to mess up my shoulder or my elbows. And so it's good to wear elbow wraps for me to keep them kind of in alignment. And I'm really focusing on rolling those shoulder blades under. And as I push, I'm thinking of pushing below the breast at the bottom part of my pectoral so that I'm getting the proper form. Because if it's too high, you're not really working the chest and you can really mess up the shoulder and the elbow, from what I understand and from my experience, because that's how I popped out an elbow a couple years ago when I was lifting really heavy and not wearing wraps and not having proper form, and I just really messed up my elbow for a while, and so that wasn't fun, especially when you hear it, move and shift and pop, and that's just yuck. Don't do that, guys. So that was the bench press. After the bench press, I moved my bench up to 45. It's at an incline, and I don't go too far up on the incline. I really try to keep it back so that, again, it's not a shoulder press. You don't want the bench too high up where it's focusing on the shoulders. You have to have it really at a more low incline, in my experience, to really target the chest, the upper pectoral. So it's the incline dumbbell press. And this time I did 3 sets of 5 with 12 kilograms. And I had to ask for help. My left shoulder has, been off and on since we've been dealing with the freezing shoulder and the weird impingements. And it's usually the second and last set I know it's heavy enough, because I always have to ask for help just getting the dumbbell up. And I had to ask for help for this one to get assistance. When I don't have someone around that can help me, what I'll do is I'll drop the weight to about 10 kilograms where I can actually lift the dumbbell. And so that might be something you want to try. So if you find that whatever weight you're using to really get a good lift in is too heavy and you really can't lift it anymore because of fatigue, then go down in weight. You can still get your workout in, just go down a couple of kilos, 1 or 2 kilos. It makes a huge difference. And it's so crazy because as an American, kilos and pounds are so very different. And my brain naturally thinks in pounds because that's what I grew up with. And I'm like, it's just 12 kilos. And in my brain, I know it's not the same. I really do logically understand, mathematically understand that 12 kilos and 12 pounds are not the same. In fact, it's almost double, right? Basically double. But what's hard for me is understanding, like, a drop of 2 kilos is basically 4 or 5 pounds. That's a lot. And so when I'm lifting, my brain's thinking 12 pounds and it's not, it's 12 kilos. Stop freaking out. Like, it's heavy. You've taken one arm and you're pressing this, and it's okay. Like, give yourself a break. If you have to drop a couple of kilos to get a good form lift where you don't hurt yourself, then do it. No ego lifting. Sorry, my ADHD brain is just like all over the place. So that was the incline press. And then from there, after 3 sets of 5, I move over to assisted dips. And what's great about this is now that I've dropped the assistant in weight, so it was like at 45 kilograms assisted, now I've dropped it to 35 assisted. It's really a struggle, and there's no way I'm going to do 3 to 5 sets of 15 with that, but that's okay, because my goal is to get to the point where I don't even need assistance with the dip. And by doing that, even if it's one, I think I can do maybe sort of 1 dip without assistance. But dropping the weight, I'm doing 3 to 5 sets of 5 reps of assisted dips. And so this time I did 3 sets of 5 at the 35 lower. And it was a challenge, but it was really, really pleasant. And I felt that I really accomplished something. So it's good that, like last week, I'm finding these wins. It's very rewarding. So it's like little wins in the gym, and finding your strength and finding the challenge that you're overcoming possible. So for me, that's exciting. I like to win. Who doesn't like to win? I think we all like to win. Yeah. So that was Friday. It's my hot Friday night. And then on Saturday, for my hot Saturday, I met my friend Rebecca, And I was a bit tired. I didn't really want to work out because she had just done legs. And I was going to do legs again, but my arms were definitely feeling it and I needed a break from my upper body. So we decided what we would do is we would meet and do HIIT cardio, and I introduced her to HIIT cardio on the elliptical. But these are different ellipticals, so the ones where the band's hanging down from the side, which are not my favorite, but my goodness, are they a challenge to really push when you hit the high interval part of the HIIT training. And so we did HIIT cardio, and then we did abs, and then from there we did the vibrating plate to help us stretch, because both of us had sore muscles from training all week. And then we did a bit more stretching and moving. And I really appreciate working out with Rebecca because she's so good about making me do things that I don't normally do, like stretching. I'm really bad about stretching, and I need to get better about stretching because I tend to do my warm-ups that are worked into my training, but I'm not very good about cooling down and stretching the muscle, which we all need. We need flexibility. It's good for you. And during the year, I'm usually taking a class or giving a class where I'm teaching a dance class or taking a dance or some type of aerial acrobatic class where they make you stretch. And so I've gotten lazy because if no one else is making me do it, I don't do it on my own. I'm very guilty of that. And it's so important because you don't want to hurt yourself and you don't want sore, like shortened muscles. Stretching is very important. You want to elongate those muscles and give the body a stretch. This is good for us, right? It warms up the body and it makes everything liquid and it's really nice. So stretching is good. Only do active stretching before your training, but you can absolutely do static stretching after. Why active stretching before your workout? From what I understand, when you do static stretching and you hold these positions for too long, you can weaken the muscles and the ligaments before your training, so you're not going to get as strong of a lift with your static stretching. So apparently active stretching, which is warming up and getting active stretching is when you're getting blood to the muscles and you get things moving and you warm up and you get the blood pumping and then you do your training, great. But again, static stretching, you don't want to overdo it and then make it tired where it makes no sense and you can't really do a good form lift. You want it all going in the correct direction so that you lift it as heavy and as perfectly as possible, right? There's no such thing as perfect, but as possible. Yeah. So that was my week 19 training. As for food, I had made some lean taco meat, and so I had some lovely soft tacos, and in place of sour cream, I usually use skyr or Greek yogurt. Personally, I use skyr, but you can use Greek yogurt if you want in various forms of fat content. But skyr is naturally low fat, high protein, so you get more bang for your buck, and it's not been modified. It's just, fermented, whatever skyr is. I should look into that. It's something from the Nordic countries, from what I understand. But it's the macros in skyr is great. It's basically up there with cottage cheese, and we know how the world is crazy about cottage cheese. So that was, eating was pretty decent this week, and I do want to talk to you about eating. Let's have a talk really quick. So let's talk about eating. In regards to things that I have found out about myself, and I keep hearing from others, from multiple podcasts and talking to friends and family, eating affects so much of our lives. And I know it's hard to believe, but it really does. It has everything to do with your hormones, your blood sugar, your state of mind. For example, I know when I eat a certain way, and it generally contains whole foods that I've prepared myself. I know basically where I got it from. I always read the labels and I look at things like, is it high protein? Is it organic? Where did it come from? What else is in it that I'm unaware of? And if you're literally just buying a bio chicken, an organic chicken, or an organic head of lettuce or celery or whatever it is you're buying, some lovely pumpkin. We're getting into pumpkin season, which I love. You know, in theory, because of where you're buying it and what you're buying, it's supposed to be what it is, right? And if you're cooking it yourself, you know what's going into it. So it's easy to control the fat content. You're like, okay, I'm going to use a tablespoon of olive oil to cook this entire pan of chicken and vegetables. Or I'm going to use ghee or whatever. When I eat whole foods that are prepared in a sane way, which for me is baking or cooking in a pan, sauteing, but not deep frying, I have to be very careful, right? I love fried food. I love sugar. I love bread. I love all the things that are highly palatable foods. I do. However, when I eat those things, like I notice the difference when, if I'm eating a lovely roast chicken with roasted vegetables as opposed to going and eating a fried schnitzel, which is very popular in Vienna, with some hummus, fried chicken and french fries, basically. I know the feeling is so different, and how my joints feel is a big deal. So inflammatory foods like deep fried foods and sugar and alcohol, when I partake, or gluten. If I eat gluten-free, I'm better. But if I eat a gluten-y piece of cake or a bagel or a yeasty, delicious, gluten-y croissant or roll, right? My body feels it. I personally cannot process gluten. I know some people think the whole gluten thing is a woo-woo crazy thing. In my family, it is genetic. Most people in my family, on my mom's side, cannot process gluten. And according to my mom, she says my dad also could not have wheat products. So it looks like I'm getting it from both sides, because my dad was allergic to everything. And my sister's allergic to basically everything. So I don't blame her for not wanting to give up gluten, but I don't think it's helping her either. When I eat the things that my body does not like, the inflammation, the rheumatoid arthritis that occurs is excruciating. And the reason I want to talk to you is I really, really want you to listen to your body, figure out what is it that is the core problem of your pain. For me, we know that alcohol messes up my body. Granted, I'm of that age where alcohol just does not metabolize well. I'm sorry, ladies, but after a certain age, it just stops metabolizing well. It messes with your sleep, it messes with your digestion, it messes with your brain, it gives us headaches. It's like, I don't care how good the alcohol is, like quality-wise, it'll still get you. So just be aware. In moderation, a little bit, it's not gonna kill you. But if you have like a day of having cocktails or something, you're gonna feel it. It's gonna cause questionable issues in your body. Sugar, copious amounts of sugar, a little bit here and there is not gonna kill me, but I can't eat a sugary dessert and not feel it. Like for me, my family is like a whole bunch of diabetics, and sugar, my body is seriously insulin like intolerant. I feel insulin, I feel sugar spikes so easily. When I eat sugar, I'm just like that meme of that kid with the blue cotton candy at the sports game. That's me. I totally like sugar, like makes me a crazy person. And then the drop is awful. I get the shakes. It makes me feel nauseous. I know it's crazy. And alcohol and sugar are almost the same in my body. So also coming off alcohol and cocktails, I don't feel well. So I know that those also cause serious issues in my body. And then deep fried food, the inflammation from that as well. And it hurts my joints and I feel nauseous and my digestion is not fluid and it's just not fun and it doesn't make me feel good. And then it also beat myself up mentally. When I'm enjoying it. And again, if I do things in moderation, I'm not mad. But when I overdo it, I absolutely feel it. And I just urge anyone out there who is suffering from joint pain, digestion issues, lethargic every days, when you're going through the world and the lethargy is like serious, or brain fog. Guys, the first place to look is, what is your diet? What are you putting into your body, right? I know if I fuel my body like crap, I'm going to feel like crap. It's just the way it is. And it's so funny. Every time I eat gluten, even just a little bit, my boyfriend's like, what did you eat? Because I blow up. My face goes, I'm like a little blowfish. And not only do my joints hurt, but everything swells and bloats, and it's so obvious. And I get the circles and bags under my eyes get deeper and they swell. It just shows up everywhere. My fingers swell. I have like little sausages for fingers when they puff up when I eat gluten and things that I shouldn't. It's just my body is so responded to that, and even more so because when I'm eating healthy and I'm not in a constant state of inflammation, when I do eat something that is not whole and natural and not ultra processed, when I go into the other direction of the dark side, my body responds. It's instant response. And I think I prefer to feel better than feel like shit. I think, honestly, guys, if you have choices, definitely don't be hard on yourself. You don't have to be extreme, but start just making healthier choices. How many times do we have to say this to ourselves, right? How many times do we have to have a talking to with ourselves? Like, come on, you need to eat better. Like, come on, guys. It's that self-talk. We don't need to beat ourselves up, but we certainly need to be loving and caring to ourselves. And my friend Rebecca, I'm not talking about myself in the third person, she said to me, sometimes I have to talk to myself in a loving way like I would to a friend. And it's like, now I need you to eat something healthy. You're hungry. Let's go feed you something that's, good for you. And she talks to herself like she would talk to a friend that she's taking care of. And that's important. We need to love ourselves and take care of ourselves and be kind to ourselves and speak to ourselves in a gentle, nurturing way, and make sure that the things that we are putting in our body are nurturing as well. So we need to nurture our emotions and our brains and ourselves, both mentally, physically, spiritually. We have to take care of ourselves. And by doing that, it's by understanding that not eating these crappy foods is better. It's good for us because we are nurturing ourselves. I am not going to go out of my way and feed my friend who is a diabetic. I'm not going to go take them a cake. That's not nurturing them. I'm not going to bring over a whole bunch of croissants to my friend who can't eat gluten. I'm not going to bring drinks to a party to my friend who is a recovering alcoholic. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so if you find that you have a weakness in certain foods, then you need to nurture yourself and find those things that feed the soul and the body in a good way. And maybe that is, oh my God, I love pumpkin soup. So go out and make some pumpkin soup, right? And it can be healthy and nourishing, and it can be comforting without feeding yourself, terrible fast food that you shouldn't be eating, right? You can still have that burger, but maybe you're making that burger with really great beef that's high quality and organic with grass-fed meat and a gluten-free bun that is not ultra processed but made at the local bakery, and they just happen to use a mix of non-wheat grain and rice. You know, there's just so many options out there. Make your own fries. Okay, you want French fries? Well, cut them up, wash those potatoes, dry them, do baking paper on the baking pan, do a fine mist of olive oil, and put some lovely seasonings of your choice on those potatoes that you've cut up, and throw them in the convection oven, which is a huge air fryer. Thank you very much. You don't need an air fryer. You can just have an oven with a fan setting, right? And you cook those babies high and fast with the fan on, and they crisp up nice with that little mist of olive oil. You turn them, and they're delicious. And you don't need deep fried anything. And potatoes are not bad for you guys. You're allowed to have potatoes. You could do sweet potatoes. You could do butternut squash fries, which I've done before. Those are a little more work intensive because you have to sweat them like you would like zucchini, right? When you're gonna cook that and you need to get the water out. So with those, you kind of have to salt them and sweat them, and that is a massive undertaking. So I rather use potatoes if possible, but it's up to you. Yeah, so that's our little talk about nutrition this week. I am actually gonna go run to the grocery store and do a quick shopping trip so I can set myself up for the week in a good way. I don't know what I'm going to buy yet. I have some ideas of what I want, but it also depends what is left on the shelves that's of good quality and that meet my needs. I might have to go back. I might have to settle what I can get today and then go back, because today is Saturday. I'm recording this on Saturday and releasing this tomorrow. It goes out tomorrow, but I'm going to record it and edit it today and then put it up to go out tomorrow. So you'll have your Sunday video. But yeah, I need to go shopping and I need to figure out what I'm going to eat for the week. Hopefully there's some organic chicken that I can buy and make some chicken salad or something. Or I don't know. I have to see. And then based off of the protein, I'll know what I'll be eating for the next at least few days until I can get back to the store and buy more things to make more things. That's it. So thank you for joining me for week 19, our wrap up. And I hope that you're doing well. I hope the change in weather with the new fall coming in is treating you well and that you're accomplishing everything that you need to accomplish. I also need to go work out. Rebecca is going to work out with me again. So we have some training upcoming and we got some shopping to do. And yeah, it's going to be a good week. So I'll see you in week 20. And just remember that you are a wonderful human. You deserve good things. Nurture yourself, be kind to yourself, and do good things for yourself, okay? Thanks for joining me. All right, bye.